Hello, my family. Una Cabo again. Of course, just like how we don't detail, una based on your comments, your suggestions to we. Of course, una be one follow talk to no other person but the National Publicity Secretary of the Sierra Leone People's Party. We now the oldest political party in Sierra Leone and the main opposition political party in the country at this point. We talk about no other person but Mr. Lahai Lawrence Leemah. Of course, una no say this man so na man we don't sacrifice in life for Sierra Leone. Of course, Ina been a lieutenant in the Sierra Leone Army, and of course later on they go law school. And so we've done this here plenty way they advocate and talk on behalf of the Sierra Leone People's Party even before the convention in Kenema. Of course, na person we always stand up for justice. It is speaking mind, and it is talk on behalf of the people of Sierra Leone. So we happen to get him on the line right now, of course, from Freetown. Hello, Mr. Leemah. How you do today, sir?
I do well. I tell God thank you, and I will not have to do about it.
Yeah, we do fine. We do fine. Of course, now a delight to we for getting Ibrahim Sheriff's broadcast network. Of course, this is now a global network for Sierra Leoneans and other Africans all over the world. Of course, waiting with the talk now. So today, people don't get for your game all over the world, and so it's a delight. Now they don't ask we for let we talk to you exclusively on some of the issues in the party, SLPP, and in Sierra Leone as a country. And so we are very much happy to have you here. So for let we go start this conversation. You came before give me an update of SLPP as a political party from the time when I don't get the presidential candidate onto this point. Waiting at the preparations where the party they do at this point going forward.
Of course, as we all go be aware, we not say before we get presidential candidates or going to the conventions of national officers, the party first be known to get a lot of issues. We not say when political contest based on competition, especially in an institution like SLPP, we believe in the practice of democracy, and everybody want for there at the top. The wrangling then can be so intensified at some point, it can be spirited. But like I always say, I be always done to tell people them say SLPP internal wrangling stops at the conventions, and after the convention you see everybody on board working for the common good, looking at the bigger picture. So since we get the conference of the national officers in Kenema, the party actually been on this table, and they work. They look forward to conducting the elections also for flag bearer, and in the flag bearer contest as well, will be a very spirited one. Where nobody not be sure of imagine, because if you've been doing that poll and look at the time when they count the votes, even the most popular candidates will not be retired Brigadier Julius Madabi herself, a Richard Peak uncertainty about winning was a little doubtful. That shows how genuine and the competition they really be, that everybody been determined for win. And so because of the transparency in the process, being able for make all the contestants then be able to accept the winner of the conference, the flag bearer conference at the Catco International Hall. The winner winner retired Brigadier Julius Madabi will be embraced all in colleagues, and we contest with them and loss. And at the end of the day, we will get to forget the conference. I mean, the next meeting in Putloko or Usai, in colleagues that we contest with them, therefore put them into committee for make everybody go there on board to work. So, so after the conference, actually, the party done the work towards the 2018 elections. As it is now currently, the current engagement of the party now really focus on the nomination of councillors, mayors, and district chairmen. So we just don't conclude yesterday the elections of councillors for people who therefore give symbol, or we will therefore nominate on the 28th as the National Electoral Commission don't schedule dates for make them people there who actually come for make we nominate them for symbol. So we don't conclude the elections yesterday for them. And the next stage tomorrow will be elections for chairman.
Okay. Well, wow. Well, yeah, it's a lot of work you guys are doing out there. Of course, you know, before the presidential, the flag bearer elections in the party, there was quite a lot of internal problems in the SLPP, internal disunity, violence, and all of that. and plenty people that they associate Denton and they with no other person but the presidential candidate now in supporters than Julius Madabio. I mean, you want for let we know, how the viewers they know, if you know waiting ever be the reasons then we culminate into then kind of activities inside the SLPP, that then reasons then the party able for understand then reason then they, and now going forward una go avoid then kind of thing and they from happening. What were some of the reasons responsible for that internal conflict?
Well, like I've been actually talking with preambles, they say in every democratic institution where people they compete for actually leadership, you will find out say everybody gets their own strategy where they employ, and strategies normally can also, some people their own strategy can based on propaganda, painting a picture of their opponent of what we're not correct, and so in the process, you will also get for realize a lot of misinformation can be about what not actually happen in real terms. In terms of competition, many people they say, especially the one that we contest, they still say the third brigadier Julius Madabio don't contest, and so if we give them way for let them contest, whereas the general membership of the party, of the vast majority of the party membership, they also believe say retired brigadier Julius Madabio now the right person we actually will bring SLPP kind of power. So whereas the vast majority they believe in the one them way the contest can also see them as a target. So each and everyone with the contest in biggest target now been Brigadier Bio in the process. So you find out say every one of them will be the contest the process in not being the target, and so then therefore paint a lot of picture about what it be or what it not be. But at the end of the day, we as national officers or the national structure make sure say we formulate rules and regulations consistent with the national constitution and also other national laws. We will make sure say we elect somebody we not go fall foul of the law, and at the end of the day we create the process in a very transparent manner where everybody will get doubt in the mind say the process is being skewed for favor of retired Brigadier Julius Madabio. Later when of course the contest have come take place, they can find out say all within them they say about the structures of the party and how the party they do things in for favor of Madabio was not correct, was not true, and that every one of them the level playing field they've created for make them contest into the process. So basically in the terms of confusion, and supporters normally can get their own reactions to things way different from the leadership of who that they believe. But I can say this categorically clear that for every opportunity where retired Brigadier Julius Madabio always gets for talk to supporters, he always tell them for be peaceful, for be law abiding, and for believe in the internal democratic processes or systems of the Sierra Leone People's Party. And so both side supporters can normally meet. Of course you can expect then internal wranglings can they, but as a party, we're able to surmount that and get both conferences where bring national officers into existence for 2 years, and also the flag bearer into existence. We eventually will be nominated at the National Electoral Commission for actually lead the ticket of the Sierra Leone People's Party in the 2018 elections. Right.
And so, you know, during the process also, there was this accusation specifically by Dr. Kande Koleyom Kela and few people there at the top inside the SLPP, you know, like the former, you know, vice president of the country, Albert Joe Demby, and of course, Andrew Kelly and Dennis Brightdem, you know. Then we get to do this accusation, say, during the time before the flag bearer elections, that most of the people that we been there at the top, they try for force Julius Madabio on the party, and so because of that then decide for left. Now whether the reason we then give a correct or not, but in 2012 SLPP went back into elections with a party that was divided. So if you say there is a strategy moving forward for say cohesion go day, and that there is a plan for able for talk to the brothers and sisters, we don't move away from the party, so that in case there is a runoff, we're not able for work with them.
As a party, not necessarily because them be on the SLDP and left, and we say we not go work with them. But what we want to establish was clearly here. And a good number of them say they're not able to cope or match up with the spirit of competition, and the fact is the vast majority actually resonates with the ideals or values of retired Brigadier Julius Maada, and some left, and some give reasons we actually not correct. But whatever it is, that is the reason we didn't see them left the party for. But the reason why some of the advanced, like even Dr. Kanda Yumtela, we see in a coronation in the Gupa, when they formed the young party, we see, say, in fact, the transparent process in which SLDP conduct in your elections, the NGC was completely devoid of far-fetched from the genuine and transparent process of the SLTP. If you accuse the system and process, say, is skewed towards favoring one person, and then you go from your own party, or the form party, and of which you not even be a member yet, and already prepare, say, you are going to head that party, then we want for CC, you come and meet people and don't work for party, and we don't resonate with the ideals and values of the people, and where the people and believe in them, you want that very moment, let them drop that person for your sake, for make you come at the top. And when that's not work for you, you paint pictures way not correct about the party. At any rate, they don't left and go from other party. Not only them, but every other person we precisely get political party. We believe so we all in opposition, and we get a common goal for pull the APC common power, because they don't mismanage the economy, and also the manner in which they don't actually handle governance in this country. They actually not only lead towards development and promoting the lives or living conditions of Sierra Leoneans, and for which Sierra Leoneans precisely they look forward to change, and that change, then they look forward to somebody who will actually come or give them a better livelihood, and also be able to stabilize the economy, that if they do their own businesses, at least they're able to earn small profits and get sales. So the issue of talking about runoff, we as a party in the first place get a determination for going to the elections for win at first ballot. Right. But if for any reason we go into runoff, we believe, say, like we say as opposition, and we being the main opposition in the country, we get a number also for full APC common power. But if there is any reason for let we go into runoff, we want for let we all believe as Religions and as opposition parties, we get a common goal for full APC common power, not because of SLPP or because of Maada, but because of we want this country a better one, because we want this country for go before. And if the vast majority of the SLPP believe in retired Brigadier Julius Maada, and then don't make for like a lead the flag, and if SLPP is the main opposition that goes into runoff, if there is at all going to runoff, then we encourage other political parties we don't left or see reason for joining force with SLPP, with retired Brigadier Julius Maada, for the common good of Sierra Leone and for the common good of Sierra Leoneans, so that collectively we all be able to pull APC common power and try to avoid this one party state, and also bring in a governance or a government will go rule in a manner where Sierra Leoneans then go feel dignified and feel the sense of justice and feel the spirit of democracy. That is what all political parties in opposition actually get for do, for make sure say we serve the common purpose for bring this country back on the footing of proper and real democracy. Because democracy now outside the dignity and rights of people is being respected, and we realize say sovereignty rests with the people. And if you get a government in system we actually not believe in them structures and they or not believe in them democratic virtues, then that government is not said to be a democratic government. And so as opposition parties, everyone began for actually coming to governance. So you want a government where they in place, we believe in the constitution and believes in the ideals of the people, and we're ready for rule according to what the people wish. Not to a government where we end up for skewed constitutional review into waiting in one against the voices of the people. So we want an opposition party where we emerge for actually put this country on a proper footing. So if there is any need for us going on a runoff, on that note, at least I want to call on all other opposition parties for see reason say all of us as opposition get a common goal for political common power.
Right. Okay, and so, you know, after the McKinney convention of the APC, where the president was alleged to have single-handedly selected Dr. Samura Kamara for being the presidential candidate of the APC and Sherry Koko as the running mate. plenty APC members, they begin to become very enraged, then vex, then decide for crossover openly to the SLPP. And SLPP being a traditional political party formed on the basis of conservatism and democracy. Waiting at some of the mechanisms where the SLPP as a political party don't put in place for able to receive the influx of the APC members and for assure them for say this kind of way they don't come, that there is hope for them in the SLPP. Waiting at some of the things they want to do.
Well, now the falsehood that before this time painted about the SLPP, that SLPP is a conservative and elitist party. But then on the contrary, and this is more the reason why retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio in popularity is so obvious in the party, because in fact now they complain this way, many way perhaps don't let the party get against retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio, that their party is a conservative party, it's an elitist party, and that in don't take the party down to the grassroots. I could tell you for sure, in the world, for sure, say the SLPP, before we perhaps people think in a conservative party, that's not the SLPP under the current leadership and the flagship of retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio. The SLPP today is more grassroots than any other political parties in this country. And one thing, even when I forget to also mention that, given the fact that others don't left the party because they're not able to actually compete and they're not able to cope with the spirit of competition, because of that they left. I want to make you know, as they left, and as we also talk about the APC convention in Makini, a lot of other people from the APC and other political entities, and some within sit on the fence, don't see reason to actually join force with the SLPP. And as I speak to you now, the SLPP actually don't set up a campaign structure for meet people that more or less we still believe, and we still not get faith in APC anymore, for still see reason why at least they go conform with the SLPP ideals. So then that team, they actually out now, then they actually work with people there. And very recently, don't they attend many other areas, the Musai people, they aspire for the symbol of the SLPP, then in their declarations, then don't also try to get people then at the various areas where I don't attend, and don't try to get people and we not believe in APC anymore for declare for the SLPP. One area now, one of the Musai we get the SLPP lawyer brewer that in community now look in town now that you see axis. Musai last week we get 150 members of the APC we declare for the SLPP that then believe in the ideals of the SLPP, because SLPP not get secret cow. SLPP, even you know a member of them, once you do bad, then they discipline you, and that SLPP believe in the one country, one people value, and that them believe in SLPP, not the APC way, not respect their rights and views. But the SLPP being democratic party, respect everybody's rights and views. So that's not been the justification with them, and that they believe in retired Brigadier Julius Maada being in leadership, and that make them decide for declare for the SLPP. And they all been get for give the name and all give statements, and we get for take the names and down. That's not the only place. In other areas also like Kosoto, we go also again, we get people from APC who also declare for SLPP, and every one of them, one and the way they declare, we write down the names them, and we make sure say we factor them into groupings like the young generation and also the Benghazi group. We they get groups them at the party way actually we they get them function into, so that they go feel SLPP and that they go relate with the one them where they don't mix the SLPP, and also we encourage them for make them encourage the one them still. We still sit on the fence, we're not still raising it for come out or for come over. For make them encourage them and believe in the party for make them come over. So by the way then they see how we encourage them, the colleagues them already we don't declare for the SLPP. It motivate them more to make them also see reason for letting it come. And as I speak to you on daily basis, at least people from other parties, even particularly the APC, they declare for the SLPP. And so SLPP actually don't they get more numbers and don't they make more inroads into the northern axis. And what is very, very clear in this election, so we can go into, that in the registration, we're able to actually create that kind of vigilance by making sure that every registration center gets SLPP polling agents, where even the incumbent governments not be able to do, for make sure they then get agents across all of the registration centers, where we do in opposition. And so we believe the manner in which the registration come out as well. Usai the southeast registered than the north, and also registered than the western area, and that's been intact. They also tell we say these elections we only need for work and get we own percentage in the north and also in the western area for make we able for clinch the victory at the first rounds. If you also look at the political dynamics at the moment, it also gives SLPP the assurance of winning these elections at first ballots. Now, the one area that the way I really do want to mention when I really talk about even before talking about runoff,
right? Because
now, if you look at the NGC, NGC they draw largely a membership or support base from the north, especially where you get people who actually not believe in the APC anymore because they're not fulfilled. They look forward to say APC for fulfilled, and that they not also feel comfortable for joining the SLPP. So largely they join the NGC, now the northern part, and even in the western area. So when you look at these areas, you say the incumbent APC behind the draw in votes largely, then that tells you there is going to be scramble between the NGC, among the NGC, the ADP, when a Kamarimba party, and also the APC. Whereas the Southeast remain intact, and we also they make inroads into the north and also into the western area. So when you look at this pattern of voting, or you look at the pattern of registration and the dynamics currently in the political landscape of the country, it tells you, say, or any analyst can tell you, say, SLPP will clinch victory at first ballots. But even if we are to go into runoff, then SLPP will go into runoff with a decisive lead in the process. So we still do the assignment correctly, and I make also the person where they don't put as campaign chairman way now Dr. Ali Kaba, and with the elected official way now Mr. Jimmy Songa, when I'm in the UK, and I chairperson at the point, when I'm the national organizing secretary now. These are vibrant people who also understand the political dynamics as to how you go also able to persuade people who sit on the fence for believe in the policy decision of the SLPP, and especially at a period like this where we country don't divide on tribal and political lines, and that we need a leadership who will unify this country, and we will make sure say development is taken forward in this country, and try for also work and reduce corruption, because one of the things we actually is responsible for destroying the economy of this country and the rampant corruption, and at the same time government spending beyond what it generates. And so if you get people at this period, they look forward to a leadership.
You have $7.
All right, it looks like say we don't lose Mr. Leemah. Let's try for call him back again.
Please enter the telephone number you wish to dial now, or press.
Yes.
You have 18 minutes remaining for this call. Thank you for using False Revolution.
Well, let's see.
Hello, I know we know say the line go off.
Yes, the line go off. Yes, Mr. Leemah, go ahead. Right. So basically, yeah, you want to finish that you thought. Yes.
Yes, like I mean, they say, if you look at the political dynamics now at the moment, with the emergence of the NGC and Kanda Yumkila also being a northern-based politician, with the Kamarimba Mansare also being a northern-based politician, and that you get a lot of people in the APC where don't become dissatisfied with the APC because the APC not live up to the expectations. So basically, then two parties are draw the large membership from the north or the northwest. And this is the area where APC be done they draw them votes, whereas the southeast remain intact. And then we serve the camp also and try to make sure we serve make inroads into this area. So it is the surest expectation of the SLPP that we win these elections at the first ballot. But if for any reason we not win them at the first ballot and we have to go into runoff, then we go into runoff with a decisive lead of in favor of SLPP in these elections.
Okay. All right, definitely, clearly explained. So at the end of the day, there is hope for those APC members where they come into the SLPP based on what you don't say. And so, Mr. Leemah, you know, plenty of people really they look at SLPP as the alternative in governance in the country right now for maybe the party will go form the next government in the country. But you know, plenty things that the way the APC don't do that the country, just like how you talk, where they are very cocky about. I mean, they're not even one for accept for say they have done wrong in the country. We're in a country they right now where people they go to bed hungry at night, you family sick, now they die, place not the for can go for get proper medical care. Waiting as some of the immediate, most urgent policy positions of the SLPP should it win the 2018 elections?
Retired Brigadier Julius Maada actually don't take in time not for make any clear promise way. At the end of the day, the promise could be undermined. And as somebody will believe in actually trying to take people them by surprise or in critics them by surprise. But at any rate, they don't tell we say waiting at the thing that we're responsible for the economy for the economy of this country for the in bad shape. Now the fact say government or this current government, the APC government, they spend money lavishly, and then they spend money not commensurate to what they don't generate. So because then they spend money, we're not commensurate to what they don't generate, and at the same time corruption is uncontrolled under the APC government. It don't make the economy of this country don't go bad, and that cost of living don't become extremely difficult for the average Sierra Leoneans.
Right.
So part of the policy decision at that. The first thing we get for work on the human resource, when are the major or the principal resource where we get as a nation. That is, try for give better education or quality education to the people of Sierra Leone. So part of the policy decision now that within the first, well, it not come clearly for talk about 100 days policy decision. And don't decide say it will work on the human resource base first, because once you get a proper human resource, where is skilled, a human resource that is skilled, that is also better educated, then you don't create the platform first for get or secure a job for them, because there is no way you can employ people or create job employment for people who are not skilled, who are not educated, or who are not better educated. But once you give the people the skill training, you also make sure say they are better educated. Then even without you employing them, they can find employment for themselves, and they can be their own employer and also employing other people. So part of this policy decision of retired Brigadier Julius Maada for make sure say the life or living condition of Sierra Leoneans become better. One, now for make sure say it reduce corruption in the country, and through fiscal proper fiscal management or proper fiscal discipline as to how we spend with money, and also make sure say it diversify the revenue generation. If you ask any average Sierra Leonean now, say what's on a major resources so they actually get on an income from, they go tell you say na mining, diamond mining or gold mining, and you experience say when we over dependent so much on this mining productivity. What happen when the Ebola come? The excuse where the APC been the Guinea that because of the Ebola the economy don't drop, which has not been the case for us as how we look at that, because we feel say the money we're even coming. It passed waiting government be generate. But since then, say systems of private entities not been done the function well, and public institutions not be the function well, that lead to the dwindling of the economy. We see I'm saying in fact the Ebola or the economy in destruction and destroy one as a result of poor management of the economy. So the policy decision of the SLPP one now for make sure say we diversify we economic generation. That is moving away from or not only relying on mining sector, but even the sea will get the resources where they inside the sea, the fish and other resources will get inside our water. If we properly able for utilize them and make sure say the resources where they come from and the process where they come from is properly centered into the national coffer, then that money where they come into that coffer is properly utilized, is properly managed, is properly expended, then that will be able for help for boost the economy of this country. You look at Wataki na place standing back where they generate boku money, but what they happen? Government resources they generate at the various sectors normally not they come into the consolidated fund. Some can stop on the way. So if proper structure and monetary mechanism is created as designed by the SLPP policy, and then we make sure say all money where they come for government, it reach inside the government coffer, and government make sure say it properly expend the money, then that will help largely for boost the livelihood of Sierra Leoneans, and at the same time go make sure say this country gets a very strong economy and push this country in development go before. So in terms of like people they ask questions or want a policy decision for talk about 100 days policy. Sometimes you can design a policy for 100 days, but there are certain decisions which require parliamentary approval. So making a decision and of which you also get for lobby through parliament for approve, they are very, very careful for make promises of that nature. Okay. But the full assurance where they don't give Sierra Leoneans and that. In focus now for work on the human resource base, we're going to make them very productive and viable for make sure say we all be agents for contribute towards boosting the economy of this country and make a better Sierra Leone. And also work on the mentality of Sierra Leoneans for be patriotic, because no matter what system and structures you put in place, if Sierra Leoneans not try to be patriotic and think Sierra Leone, even if you put them in office, at the end of the day, then go end up or mess up and skewed and move away from waiting at the right thing for do. So also again, part of in policy decision also now for work on the mentality of Sierra Leoneans, for make we believe in Sierra Leone and for make we believe say the resources where they come for this country are not meant for you as an individual within at the office, but it meant for the country in developed one, and it meant for everybody. And that once we nurture that kind of mentality, then collectively we are able to put hands on deck and get this country move on.
Right, so definitely.
Those are the structures, yes, those are the structures put in place where at least the SLPP plan for make sure say we push go before. Now, in terms of what we brought and they say they don't believe, say, they not do any bad yet. Well, what we don't do before this time, we don't do an examination on the own manifesto self where they been put out in 2012, telling Sierra Leone and say, now this and this they want for can do. Sometimes back when me and the Deputy Minister of Information, they did a 98.1, they analyzed the policy decision on electricity generation or electricity supply. They've been promised the country, say, in 10 years' time, they will provide electricity generation of 1,000 megawatts in 10 years' time. And guess what? This government don't expend huge amounts of resources, about 300 million United States dollars, just for electricity generation, and all they're able for GUI, now 10% of the 1,000 megawatts we don't say they go provide. So basically, waiting now that 10% of 1,000 megawatts is just about 100 megawatts in 10 years' time, and 300 million expended in 300 million United States dollar expended in electricity generation. Even with the 10 megawatts where they don't provide, the light level and the be inconsistent. It will take 3 days. Some households not to get light. So when we also take them back on the road, when at the other flagship project, again, if you look at the road project, when they at the flagship project, it's so cosmeticized that they, in fact, most of the roads them way, in fact, then come now inherit the roads them. You think of the Maishaka Bow Road. This now project where SLPP left on at the period even when the elections be go on, the constructions been there on. The Pamlap Mashaka Highway also now projects where SLPP left on, where the constructions be go on, even onto the peak of the elections. And also if you look at the Kenema Pendembu Road, this now projects where the SLPP left. What thing will be they expect APC for do, not only for complete them projects and the way them be meet, but rather for also take the project further. Like for we stop the road at Pendembu, what will be they expect them for do now for take them from Pendembu to Kailan.
Right.
But now I can tell you, from Pendembu to Kailan, the road is so terrible, and from Blama to Fujong, the road is so terrible that sometimes even the vehicles the way they fly through that route, people end up for Kandong and walk across them, palm tree, where they cut and make a bridge, and try for fly and walk through for make the Mutka them pass. So largely, what thing they happen? The road connecting from Blama to Pujong, people and they do a lot of foot walking than even the vehicle where they take them. When you also look at the road from Matrujon to Bo also is not connected. You look at Moyamba Junction also again to Moyamba Town is not connected. So waiting at this road project so APC they talk about. Let's come back to Freetown. Who side they don't do some just disservice to the people by just tarring few streets and waiting to the face of the people and try to make fool of the people. Even with the Donda streets where they say they don't tar, at a heavy downpour where the rain pour heavily, the entire side where they put it just wipe off up to some distance. So this they tell you the poor quality of roads where they don't do. Let's come back to Wilkinson Road. When a 4.5 kilometer road. Wilkinson Road, 4.5 kilometer road, if we go by the World Bank standard, it's supposed to be 1 million United States dollar for 1 kilometer road. So which means the Wilkinson Road, when a 4 kilometer road or 4.5 kilometer road, supposed to cost 4.5 million United States dollars. Even when we talk about 1 million United States dollar by World Bank standard, Now, a situation where they do a new road, we are in sometimes you go for bush and create a broke the hill and make fresh road, not like paved road like this.
Right.
So basically, if we look at the Wilkinson Road, when I pave road, you go for spend less than even $1 million United States dollars. But I'll take them as it is that then spend $1 million United States dollars. So meaning the Wilkinson Road, we then do it's supposed to cost about $4,500,000 United States dollars. Now then spend $19 million United States dollars for do 4.5 kilometer road when at the Wilkinson Road. So you look at that huge kickback. Because if you subtract 4.5 from 19, you get it in percentage of the way even exceed the proceeds where they put for make that Wilkinson Road. So there is a huge kickback where go back where we don't know how it go, but it's in the pockets of government.
Right.
So these are the things when they talk to them don't do. Let's come back to the free healthcare when they talk about. Talking about free healthcare, we don't see an increase in infant mortality. We don't see an increase also in maternal mortality in this country. And than even before the 10 years before APC they come in governance. When the Ebola break out, we see how rotten we health sector in there in this country, that the whole country now 1 or 2 ambulances we will get. And also as a result of the poor the mismanagement of the Ebola, it claimed many lives in this country, and up to this time, we still not see much improvement in the health sectors. Education is completely out of the way in this country under the APC. Now, under APC, we don't see 3 NPSE picking them. They take an examination on 1 question paper, where even they are against the examination ethics. And at the end of the day, you send picking them for going to secondary school, when not go through proper codes of ethics of the examination rules. You also get about 17,000 schools them where they were then deprived of not taking public exams. You know, as a result of this government not getting subvention for pay for some of their schools than they. So these are the challenges. I mean, these are the failures. We're very, very blatant that this country are where people and they suffer from. And you don't get all of these where APC don't fail in, and they still keep the pull and just say they don't do well because then they take chances of the fact that the people don't understand. No, the people extremely aware and they're very much determined and desperate for get APC out of governance. And that is more the reason why the APC has been so jittery. They feel say they will adopt the principles of intimidation by intimidating our political opponents, will even lead to some of we unlawful incarceration and other key political stakeholders in this country also for go through the intimidation pattern. But amidst all of that, the people still don't show resilience or make sure say come March 7, 2018, therefore vote APC out of governance. And the reason why people they vote change in this country is that the people want development, the people want better economy, the people want better educational system or facilities, the people want better health care, the people want better livelihood. So any government or any political party will also want to factor into this change where the people and they look forward to. You got to profile yourself as a credible person and as a credible party where you the lead. And the SLPP gets a track record of democratic good governance in this country. And the one where the lead with flagship in the SLPP when I retired Brigadier Julius Madabio get a record of living by in word. When he take over governance in the NPRC, where been there at the helm, it talks say Ingo lead for just 3 months and make sure they conduct democratic elections and hand over power. He do that and he live up to in word and he don't go, he don't improve himself, he don't come, he don't subject himself to the internal democratic processes of the SLPP. From 2005 up to this peak, is still there in the process and is there in the pipeline. What thing happened in the elections in 2012, not the elections where SLPP lost, but perhaps now been poor vigilance be there on the part of SLPP for make sure so them properly monitor and police the elections. And so from the 2012, the SLPP don't go back to the drawing board and learn from the lessons. So the fact that SLPP gets a track record of pushing this country in development go before, and that then gets a presidential candidate, where of course in ideals, it resonates with the values of Sierra Leone, of Sierra Leoneans, and at the same time, it resonates with the laws and ethics of this country. The people more or less believe in the SLPP for being the best alternative for unseat the APC through the ballot box on March 7, 2018, and that for sure it will come to pass.
And so, Mr. Leemah, you talk about SLPP losing elections in 2012 based on the lack of vigilance on the part of the party. Well, people that they feel say now that same complacency where the party still they maintain. The party went into election divided, and of course there was no proper monitoring. Then now other people that don't left the party. So well, I want to compare waiting at the vigilance of the party this time as compared to 2012. I mean, you feel say the situation don't look better small past 2012.
Well, I think the APC always don't cling on the fact for misinform the public about SLPP being divided, which has not been the case. Even in the 2012 elections, when people left the party, the SLPP win that elections, but lost the results to the APC because of lack of vigilance.
Right.
Now, I will tell you, say, as much as people that don't left SLPP, but a lot of people don't come now SLPP way past the one that we left. And at the same time, the one that we left SLPP, these are not people who can make significant impact on the stronghold of the SLPP, which is the Southeast. But largely, the people or the new parties that we don't emerge get the potential for cause significant impact into the stronghold of the APC or the perceived stronghold of the APC. So, as much as SLPP try to maintain vigilance for properly monitor the registration pattern, will make the Southeast and registrants exceed the Northwestern registrant, it tells me say SLPP don't learn from in past mistake and that they will maintain similar vigilance.
That's good. That's good.
For make sure say
when that will go okay. Right. So Mr. Leemah, time done away, but we will try to get back to you shortly before elections, you know, for a lot of talk on more or other issues.
Your call was ended, right? Because you no longer have.
Okay, so now the time that we'll get for Mr. Leemah, matter of fact, let's try for see if we're able for call him again for let's just end them properly. From them. No, well, we're not going for Richard right now. But so me from then that we get from Mr. Leemah today. Of course, this na Lahai Lawrence Leemah, a join with today from Freetown, Sierra Leone, and of course, na the National Publicity Secretary of the SLPP, where na the main political party in the country. I mean, the main opposition political party in the country. And so we're going to try for reach him again at another time for let's go able for Brian come on board. But I think say he was very eloquent in putting most of the issues them across, right? And of course, so me fam with them. This now Sheriff's Broadcast Network. Of course, I want for wish you all Merry Christmas, and of course we'll get for return back to the main studio for the rest of the interview. Thank you very much.